4 cylinders at 366 on climb out, even at 100% power. So the fuel injector was not bad. It was a manifold pressure and fuel flow pressure. We're heading into what will be a winter storm when we get to St. Louis, I think, right?
Yeah, that's the last thing we kind of heard on the news. Oh no, it's her mom. Yeah, it's supposed to be coming in around 6.
About 6 o'clock. Yeah, we're going to be going down and just taking a chill pill at the Hilton Garden Inn.
National altimeter now 3027.
Climbing nice. We're getting a little tailwind. We're getting 25 knots. And we're going up to 8,000 feet.
15,000.
And we'll check back into cruise. Doing great today. We've got 32 knot tailwind basically. We're doing 186 knots over the ground, 167 a true. We've got hour and 3 minutes basically to the airport.
Compassion
We've loaded the
1261, proceed on course.
RNAV for runway 8 right. We'll see what they give us when we get there, but that is the approach plate for us.
Flight 1261,
D-Town is our final approach fix at 2,400 feet, and our go-no-go altitude is 662 feet. So we're in great shape.
1261, proceed on course.
Still a little chilly, but the temperatures are doing just awesome on this now that they've adjusted the manifold pressure and the fuel flow. Still got about 20 more hours to go on that cylinder, but it'll be good to go after that.
Flight 1261, Campbell approach out of here.
Hear you just fine for Compassion 1261.
Compassion 1261, proceed on course.
On course for 1261. Okay, we're done with our Angel flight, the glamorous part of flying. There's a hotel at Comfort Inn. Didn't rent a car or an Uber, so we're just gonna walk the 3/4 of a mile over here to TAC Air. Get a little coffee. The winter storm is kind of passing through. First time I've ever flown into TAC Air. They're nice people. Don't get me wrong, they're very nice people. Just a little squirrely on the pistons, but this is what the Angel Flight wanted us to use as an FBO. It's probably better that way. I put my plane in a hangar last night, but I don't think it really got down below freezing, and they wouldn't let me plug in my plane to keep the engine warm overnight. So I found that kind of interesting. So we'll see. We asked them to pull it out. We should be ready to go. Okay, we were able to get the aviation weather up here, and we're right here in St. Louis. Scroll this over. And at the international airport, it's 7 miles and 700. It's very similar here. And looks like we got some bumps down in Tennessee, but no reports of icing yet. So I'm probably just gonna prime it up on the climb out just to make sure it's all good, and then we'll see if we need it or not, but better safe than sorry is always the view. Pretty good discount for the Angel flights here. They did on the fuel, there's just always a handling fee. And then hangar was $100 and the fuel was only $4.37 a gallon. In Nashville, it's probably $6 a gallon in places like this. So pretty good discount for doing good things for good people. Okay, we're not I don't know if we're gonna be the first one out, but we're not the first one in, that's for sure. We're going to do our pre-flight here. Airplane looks nice and clean. Get out of here and get home and get some stuff done. I'm almost happy I put it in now for the $100. Nice big ramp. There's the tower over there. We'll be using runway 8 right is my assumption. Okay, we're going to pick up our clearance. We got the weather. It's variable at 4. We're using 8 right. It's overcast at 900, 3002 on the altimeter. And Spirit Ground here is 33 Whiskey Romeo.
33 Whiskey Romeo, Spirit Ground.
Yep, we've got Echo. We're ready to pick up our instruments to Juliet Whiskey November.
And 33 Whiskey Romeo, Spirit Ground, you're cleared to the John C. Toon Airport. As filed, maintain 2,500. Expect 9,000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.5, squawk 1735.
Okay, cleared direct is filed to 2500 and then 9000. Departure frequency is 126.5 and squawk 1735 for 33 Whiskey Romeo.
This is 33 Whiskey Romeo, readback is correct. This is 33 Whiskey Romeo, straight ground runway 8 right, intersection Charlie, taxi via Alpha.
Okay, 8 right, intersection Charlie via Alpha for 33 Whiskey Romeo.
Well, I heard you in the back room. Your friends had a laugh on me. Passed my name through the cantina. Yeah, your face was hard to read. Something in your demeanor should have given you away. But I was desperate for a friend. I was getting used to making mistakes, but I went down hard, like Billy the Kid. Yeah, I went down hard. Yeah, but I got up I remember you, my baby. I remember you so well. And your house out in the suburbs. You had your wishing well. They say be careful who you believe. Be careful who you trust. Did you smile when you pulled the trigger? They dropped me in the dust. Well, I went down hard, like Billy the Kid. Yeah, I went down hard. Yeah, but I got up again.
Okay, we're in climb out. We're just out of 2,400 feet here. We've got the de-ice on.
2574.
Here's what it looks like outside, though. We're kind of in between layers. It does look like we're going to get into another layer here, and we'll see what happens. They've got us on a 180 heading, and they've cleared us all the way up to 9,000 feet. And it's smooth for the most part, and when you look at the engine, we're doing good on these cylinder heads. So
Number 3 Whiskey Romeo, turn left at in 140.
Okay, 140 for 33 Whiskey Romeo. And they're giving us a left turn now for 140, which will get us a little bit closer on course here. And we're starting into our next layer.
2574, turn right track Broncos.
I don't know if you could see it, but we definitely, we're not seeing any ice, but the icing on the wing is flowing out of there. You can see it on the windshield. And my view is it's always better to be safe than sorry. I got either 15 or 20 gallons of that stuff sitting in the hangar, so I might as well use it when I can. And it looks like at this point we're an hour and 50 minutes to Nashville, but that's going to change once we get the cruise, and that's where we'll talk to you.
Switch it to the northeast.
Okay, we're just coming up on 6,000 feet. Now you can see we're in between layers. We did get just a little trace of ice. I don't know if you can see it on there. It's probably tough with the camera, but I'm glad I put the de-ice fluid on. It's better to be ahead of this airplane than behind it. And it is always cool flying on days like this. It's nerve-wracking from an instrument perspective and an icing perspective more than anything, but it's always cool to see how many layers are in this whole thing. Okay, we're just at cruise now. You can see we're in a little piece of what's going to be some ice, or appears to be ice, but we're actually skirting the tops here at 9,000. It's going to break up nice, I think, and then it's basically going to turn into this rain, which is the green. So while I could go higher, I think I'll just wait it out here. We're
305. What's your plan?
-3 on the temperature outside, so Generally, if you go higher, it gets worse on the
I'll probably
ice.
climb at 250.
The ice fluid's working well. You can see way out there on the edge, and right here we're just getting a little bit of what appears to be kind of rime ice, but the de-ice fluid's keeping up. So we're going to leave it on here until we get through this purple area, and then we'll come back to you.
Departure, Eagle Foxtrot, 2.2.
Okay, we just reported that we got some light rime on the climb out, and I don't know if we can see it out of there on that edge, but there was a lot more on there now, so the de-ice fluid's doing awesome, and we appear to be kind of in between layers. We're right here into this, and so we've got, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 miles, and then it should turn back into a rain, which is nice. And
Flight 3, correction. November 8707, contact Kansas City Center,
wind almost 220 at
127.47.
28, and we're doing 161 over the ground. That gets us back to Nashville in an hour and 16 minutes roughly. We're going to have 63 gallons of fuel on descent, and it looks like we will be arriving there at 9:25. That's at East Coast time,
directed Brock.
Okay, we're at 9,000. We just checked in with Kansas City Center, and we still continue to get just a little light rime, even with the de-ice fluid on. The nice thing about this de-ice system is you can see it's running. It tells you it's running at normal. We actually have the 3 settings here on the device. We've got high and max. And at the normal setting, we've got 2 hours and 7 minutes of that being able to run. At high, we've got just over an hour, and at max, we only have a half hour. So we definitely have enough de-ice fluid to make it through the trip. At the normal setting, we won't need it here after we get out of this. As you can see when we screen in here, we're almost out of this kind of icing, kind of snow layer. We're not seeing any snow, that's for sure. Okay, we're just coming out on the other edge, coming up on the edge of this, and it's a little hard to see out of the windscreen, but you can see we're going to be on the back edge of that. We did continue to get some just light, moderate rime, but we were able to just, the de-ice just kept up with it. It was great. I've said it 1,000 times, but boy, that thing is peace of mind without a doubt. You can see now we're kind of in between layers. That's the cool thing about instrument flight for sure.
Climb and maintain flight level 330.
And there's the sun. Hopefully I can transition to sunglasses here soon.
November 8707, climb and maintain flight level 340.
The wind's actually picked up us on a bit, and we've lost some ground speed. We're at 30 knots now, and we're only at 154 and over the ground. But our crew is doing really well. And unlike yesterday, I haven't missed any handoffs because I'm actually using my 33 Whiskey Romeo handle. Okay, we're up here at cruise now. We're at 9,000. We're pretty much in between layers. I've turned off the de-ice fluid. It's still weeping out a little bit, as it usually does. I've got the ability to turn it back on if anything turns up, but we should be out of the bad part of it at this point. And the thing I just share with people is that was my first Angel flight yesterday with Mike and Suzanne. She was in, I'm going to go ahead and flip the de-ice back on. My biggest struggle, I think, was the checklist with passengers. I'm not used to having passengers. A couple things. I forgot to shut my door completely, so on the flight over, the bottom latch on my door was open, so I had to block it with my jacket, which I felt terrible about. And then finally, the other thing I screwed up was the handoff on the flight number. I was compassion flight 1261. They've changed the rules this year, I guess, where you have to have an actual compassion flight number. And
427 Delta, contact St. Louis approach.
The other thing, I probably missed three handoffs. I just was so used to having 33 Whiskey Romeo as my tail number and hearing that over and over, and just instinctively you get it. And I missed 2 handoffs in Nashville flying out of John Toon. I missed 3 handoffs in Fort Campbell approach. So thank God everybody was very kind to me, but I know that irritates the controllers. So we're going to focus on flying, and we'll get back to you a little bit later on the approach. On here you can see that we've actually, in just a little pocket, there's not much around us, but we were able to find that. So we're going down from 7 to 9,000, and that should get us out of this. As you can see, it's just in between layers, and we can still see sunshine again, so hopefully we'll get there eventually here. Okay, we're at 7,000. We're just over Fort Campbell approach. Hopefully this camera works, but we picked up the weather at John Tune. The weather actually is 050, but the winds aloft here are solid out of the south, 190 at anywhere from 40 to 49 knots. So we're going to go ahead and land 20 at John Tune, and we're just waiting for our first step down from Fort Campbell, and then we'll transition over to Nashville approach. We'll check back in then. Okay, we're on our descent here. We're just out of 5,000 for 3,000, and we're direct Twitty, which is the final approach fix on the RNAV 20 at John Tune. I was saying before, the wind is still out of the south, 184 at 27 knots, so we'll land to the south. They're reporting on the field wind 060 at 4. 20 is the calm wind runway, and that's usually 3 knots or less, so 4 knots is close enough. And when we get back, we're going to proceed to maintenance once again, not anything for the engine now, but my door, which I thought I didn't shut on the flight over completely because of the distraction of the passengers, I actually confirmed that it was shut, and that bottom latch is popping loose. So we're going to have Pete and Zach take a look at it. Okay, we're on an approach here. We're going to head now towards jogs, which is cut it off a little bit. We've got a citation that's taken off. And John Tune traffic, Sirius 33 Whiskey Romeo's inbound just out of 3,000 from the northwest for full stop on 20. Well, he's back on the power. Just back down to about 120 knots. We've got 50% of flaps in. Get this door fixed because it's freaking cold in here with that draft. Okay, we got the autopilot off, and we're in a 4.5 mile final. And John Tune traffic, Sirius 33 Whiskey Romeo's 4.5 mile final, 20 full stop. He's back here on the power. Just out of 2,000 feet. We'll get a chime 500, about 1,000 feet here. Wind has tailed off now. We're at 167 at 18 knots. It's always interesting how different the ATIS is when it's blocked by trees and everything. Just past jogs, we're just a tad low, so we'll just power up here a bit, get back up to about 30% power. We're lined up nice. Gonna have just a little bit of a quartering. Crosswind to the left, from the left. Too bad. And John 2 traffic, Sirius 33 Whiskey Romeo's 2 mile final now for 20 full stop. Okay, we'll go. 100% flaps are in now. Airspeed's coming down. Porpoise up a little bit. And just trim her down just a tad. There we go. Everything's looking good.
500.
There's our 500 marker. And tune traffic, Sirius 33 Whiskey Romeo's short final over the river. 20 full stop. And the wind has turned now to 138 at 6 knots. And we're just a tad low. You'll see 3 lights and 1 white. We'll bring the power up just a tad. And now the wind has completely kicked to 110 at 4 knots. Okay. Field in sight. Very short final. Transition to looking down the runway. Hold it off in the ground effect. There's ground effect. Not too bad. Could have kept just a little bit more power in, but we're good to go.
You got it on, you've been coming out too cold. Heat it up, baby, you're moving too slow. When it gets tired, you need a little rest. Use my bed, baby, I won't tell you so. Yeah, when you're tired, when you're tired of being alone. Well, you alive, and I know you got needs. Come see me, baby, and I'll be your release. What kind of man would leave you at home? Treat you like a child, girl, I know you're full grown. Cause I think you're lying to me. I think you're tired of me. I think you'll die to move on. So if you think you're about to give in, just say when, baby.